Melachim Beit, or 2 Kings, chapter 15. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, sovereign of Israel, Azariah, son of Amaziah, sovereign of Yehuda, began to reign. He was 16 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Yecholyahu of Jerusalem. He did what was right in the eyes of Yehovah according to all that his father Amaziah did. However, the high places were not taken away. The people still slaughtered and burned incense on the high places. And Yehovah smote the sovereign so that he was a leper until the day of his death, and he dwelt in a separate house. And Jotham, son of the sovereign, was over the house, ruling the people of the land. And the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yehuda? So Azariah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. And Jotham, his son, reigned in his place. In the 38th year of Azariah, sovereign of Yehuda, Zechariah, son of Jeroboam, began to reign over Israel in Shomeron for 6 new moons. And he did evil in the eyes of Yehovah, as his fathers had done. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. And Shallum, son of Jabesh, conspired against him and struck him in front of the people and killed him and reigned in his place. And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, see, they're written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel. This was the word of Yehovah which he spoke to Jehu, saying, "Your sons to the 4th generation are going to sit on the throne of Israel." And it came to be so. Shallum, son of Jabesh, began to reign in the 39th year of Uzziah, the sovereign of Yehuda, and he reigned a month of days in Shomeron. And Menahem, son of Gadi, went up from Tirzah and came to Shomeron and struck Shallum, son of Jabesh, in Shomeron and killed him and reigned in his place. And the rest of the acts of Shallum and the conspiracy which he led, see, they're written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel. And Menahem struck Tiphsah and all who were there and its borders from Tirzah, because they did not open it to him. Therefore he struck it, and he ripped open all the pregnant women. In the 39th year of Azariah, sovereign of Yehuda, Menahem, son of Gadi, began to reign over Israel 10 years in Shomeron. And he did evil in the eyes of Yehovah. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin all his days. Pul, the sovereign of Asher, came against the land, and Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver for his hand to be with him to strengthen the rein in his hand. And Menahem exacted the silver of Israel, of all the mighty men of wealth, of each man 50 shekels of silver to give to the sovereign of Asher. And the sovereign of Asher turned back and did not stay there in the land. And the rest of the acts of Menahem and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? So Menahem slept with his fathers, and Pekahiah, his son, reigned in his place. In the 50th year of Azariah, the sovereign of Yehuda, Pekahiah, the son of Menahem, began to reign over Israel in Shomeron for 2 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yehovah. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. And Pekah, son of Ramalyahu, a chief officer of his, conspired against him and struck him in Shomeron in the high place of the sovereign's house, along with Argob and Arya, and with him were 50 men of Gilad. So he killed him and reigned in his place. And the rest of the acts of Pekahiah and all that he did, see, they're written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel. In the 52nd year of Azariah, sovereign of Yehuda, Pekah, son of Ramalyahu, began to reign over Israel in Shomeron for 20 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yehovah. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. In the days of Pekah, sovereign of Israel, Tilgath-Pileser, sovereign of Asher, came back and took Ion, and Abel Beth Maacah, and Yanawah, and Kadesh, and Hatzar, and Galad, and Galil, all the land of Naphtali, and took them into exile to Asher. And Hoshea, son of Elah, led a conspiracy against Pekah, son of Ramalyahu, and struck him and killed him, and reigned in his place in the 20th year of Jotham, son of Uzziah. And the rest of the acts of Pekah and all that he did, see, they're written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel. In the 2nd year of Pekah, son of Ramalyahu, sovereign of Israel, Jotham, son of Uzziyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Yerusha, the daughter of Tzadok. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yehovah. He did according to all that his father Uzziyahu did. However, the high places were not taken away. The people still slaughtered and burned incense on the high places. He built the upper gate of the house of Yehovah. And the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yehuda? In those days, Yehovah began to send Retzin, sovereign of Aram, and Pekah, son of Ramalyahu, against Yehuda. So Jotham slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father. And Ahaz, his son, reigned in his place. Debir Hayamim Bet, or 2nd Chronicles, chapter 26. And all the people of Yehuda took Uzziyahu, who was 16 years old, and set him up to reign instead of his father Amaziahu. He built Ailath and restored it to Yehuda after the sovereign slept with his fathers. Uzziyahu was 16 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Yekoliah of Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yehovah, according to all that his father Amaziahu did. And he sought Elohim in the days of Zachariahu, who had understanding in the visions of Elohim. And while he sought Yehovah, Elohim made him prosper. And he went out and fought against the Philistines, and broke down the wall of Gath, and the wall of Yabneh, and the wall of Ashdod, and built cities around Ashdod and among the Philistines. And Elohim helped him against the Philistines and against the Arabians who lived in Gorbaal, and the Meunites. And the Ammonites gave gifts to Uzziyahu, and his name spread as far as the entrance of Mitzrayim, for he strengthened himself greatly. And Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem at the corner gate and at the valley gate and at the corner buttress and strengthened them. And he built towers in the wilderness and dug many wells, for he had much livestock, both in the low country and in the plain, farmers and vine dressers in the mountains and in Carmel, for he loved the soil. And Uzziah had an army of fighting men who went out to battle by divisions, according to the number on their roll, as prepared by Yeiel the scribe and Maaziyahu the officer, under the hand of Hananiah, one of the sovereign's commanders. The total number of the clan chiefs of the mighty brave ones was 2,600, and under their hand was an army of 307,500 that fought with mighty power to help the sovereign against the enemy. And Uzziah prepared for them, for the entire army, shields and spears and helmets and body armor and bows and slingstones. And he made machines in Jerusalem devised by skilled men to be on the towers and the corners to shoot arrows and large stones. And his name spread far and wide, for he was marvelously helped till he became strong. But when he became strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction, for he trespassed against Jehovah, his Elohim, by entering the Hakal of Jehovah to burn incense on the slaughter place of incense. And Azariah the priest went in after him, and with him were 80 priests of Jehovah, who were brave men. And they stood up against sovereign Uzziah and said to him, "It is not for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to Jehovah, but for the priests, the sons of Aaron, who are set apart to burn incense. Get out of the set apart place, for you have trespassed, and there is no esteem to you from Jehovah Elohim." And Uzziah was wroth, and he had a censer in his hand to burn incense. And while he was wroth with the priests, leprosy broke out on his forehead before the priests in the house of Jehovah, besides the incense slaughter place. And Azariah the chief priest and all the priests looked at him and saw that he was leprous on his forehead. And they hurried him from there. And he also hurried to get out because Jehovah had struck him. And sovereign Uzziah was a leper until the day of his death, and dwelt in a separate house because he was a leper, for he was cut off from the house of Jehovah. And Jotham, his son, was over the sovereign's house, ruling the people of the land. And the rest of the acts of Uzziah, from the first to the last, the prophet Yeshayahu, the son of Amoz, wrote. So Uzziah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the field of the burial place, which belonged to the sovereigns. For they said, "He is a leper." And Jotham, his son, reigned in his place.